Welcome to those of you watching on YouTube. This is Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. I'm your host, Steve Riccardo. If you want to hear this entire show with intros, outros, and music, please go to Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, etc. Please welcome to the show, Devon Thompson. Hi,
Hi.
Devon.
Hi, how's it going?
Great. So, you grew up in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm from here.
Like whereabouts in LA?
The Valley.
The Valley.
Yeah, I'm a
Nice.
Valley
I
girl.
I lived out in the valley for a little while too. I lived in Studio City and
Yeah,
Encino.
that's definitely the Valley. That's awesome.
Yeah. Did you like growing up there?
Not always. I didn't always like it. Actually, until recently, I did not like it. I think it's just a hard place. Like, it's a hard place to live if, for comparing yourself to others and feeling like competition and whatnot, and people always trying to like sort of, it's a hard environment, but I recently found a love for it that like I couldn't see myself living anywhere else. I love it here.
Wow, why do you think that change happened?
I well, I also think it was a perspective change. I think I was super negative about a lot of things for a really long time because I was just like not accepted at all in school, and I never, and also just like out of school, I think I just had a hard time with the people here. And also like as I've got older, and just everyone is, it's still, there's a lot of like social climbing, a lot of fake everything here, and that's just never how I've been. So seeing that like made me really bitter. But then I think I found a love for like myself and finding the right people, and I think that that changed my perspective. And I also just love everything that I love to do is here. I love fashion, so thrifting here is the biggest thing. I love the flea markets. I love the we have like the best coffee, like all that stuff. Like, just we have the best places to go, and we also have the best like sushi. Um, we have some of the best sushi here. And also I'm a snowboarder as well. So like I can drive an hour and I can go for the day and come back and play a show that night.
You know, I lived there for like 14 years when I worked in the music business, but I was there last September. And every time I go, I forget. One night I spent in Studio City, mostly in the South Bay. Every time I drive down Ventura Boulevard, the whole way I'm just fascinated at
Uh,
how many different places there are and so many different things to do. If
so
you
many
grow up there, there's no shortage, right, of things to
Yeah,
do.
there's like literally I could do a new thing every day, which is what I love about it. Like, there's so much to do in LA, and I don't, I'm not a big nightlife person. Like, I don't go out and club really, but when there are clubs, like it's really hard to find real, like in other states, like even in their cities, it's really hard to find like good clubs, because I want to go to like an 80s club, or they have a really fun like 70s disco club here,
Mhm.
and it's a speakeasy, so it's so fun, but it's really hard to find that unless you're in like New York or like London. You know what I mean?
Is your family from LA?
Yeah, we're all from here.
Are you from a big family?
I guess like sort of. I mean, my whole family's not super big, but my entire family is an arts family. So like we're all, yeah, most of my family's in the film business. So
Oh,
really don't have many people in the music business. It kind of just started with me deciding to do that. And like my grandfather's screenwriter and worked with like Steven Spielberg and Jack Nicholson and all of them. So he still does that. And my aunt is a choreographer, and my mom's an actress and a writer and a
wow.
painter, etc.
That makes sense. You're in the right place.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no one forced me into doing anything. I just like picked it up when I was young and like decided that this was what I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
You're like 21,
22.
22. Okay, so when did you start listening to music?
I mean, it's been around me. My parents are really big music people. Like, my dad's a classic rock kind of guy. I mean, he
Hmm.
loves Rush. I was never a big Rush fan, but my mom's like into 80s and into all of that stuff. And my parents also just like met on like grunge when they were together, like meeting together, like they bonded over that. So 90s had become like a big part of that, I think. So I grew up on music heavily. I was always in like band camps that my mom would put me in, like playing like guitar and whatnot and singing like when I was 10, 11. So like I think it's just a big part of what I do and a big part of like my life. And so even before I started like singing, I just remember like songs being played in the car, like ABBA was in the car, and I was like, oh, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
it's like people have music families, and like that was my family.
So did you have like a turntable, or was it just like radio, or what kind of music was playing in the house? How were they listening to music? You said your father was into Rush and
Yeah, it was mostly car rides because they'd have to take us to school, so they would play their music in the car. They play music at home too, like our Christmas parties and whatnot, like Thanksgiving parties. We would listen to like some jazz as well. Like we've listened. I'm like versed in jazz as well. So, but I think that that like mostly it's just I remember car rides. Car rides were a big part of all the music that had come to be. I think now.
so what caught your ear? Like, was there any artists or songwriters that immediately jumped out at you that got you more interested and made you want to play?
I mean, not when I was young, not that I can remember. I have a really bad memory actually. So like there's only bits and pieces that stick out. But I think that what stuck out to me in terms of like what made me want to do like what I do is kind of I think it's mostly like when it was kind of my senior year of high school when
Mhm.
I started to latch on to a lot of female artists. Like there's an artist, her name's Courtney Barnett.
Oh yeah.
Um brilliant. Courtney Barnett was big. Alabama Shakes, Brittany Howard. Um, there's something about those women, and then like Blondie, and there's something about them that is super empowering. And for the time, I was super unhappy, and I think that that kind of music really spoke to me. And it's so raw and it's so real. And I was like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. So it's been about 4.5 years now since it's been that time. Yeah. And that's what clicked for me, was
Did you
hearing a
have,
female age kind of.
so when did you get a guitar?
Oh, my first guitar, I think I was 10. My dad surprised me with a Yamaha acoustic white Yamaha guitar. It's a great beginner guitar. It's the perfect one to get. And I still use it today. Um, that was a surprise. And I think it just once I got a guitar, it kind of started from there, like I took some lessons, and I never liked lessons. I hated it, but like I had to learn, so I took lessons. I've always taken vocal lessons when I was younger, but I took guitar lessons and started playing, band camps. And I mean, there was a couple times, but like I really never, for the most part, strayed away from playing guitar and singing together.
Hmm. So did you get in bands at a young age?
Yeah, I mean, not like solidified bands. Like I would do band camps. So, a week where you like learn a song, you play with a band,
Right.
or a season at like School of Rock I did. And then I tried out for like some bands, like, when they form those like kid bands and like hope that they go somewhere. I think I tried out for a couple of those, but then I just never stuck with it until I was 16, and I like found people at my school who I clicked with, and we started a band then.
What was your first band?
We were called Tempo Fidelity. It was like cheating the rhythm kind of thing. And we were very like neo alternative with a little bit of like R&B, which is very different from what I do now. But it was really fun. It was great as a high school experience being in a band. And like I was a skater also. It was like awesome.
So aside from the band camp and the School of Rock, I mean, when did you actually do gigs with your bands?
Oh
Like the
yeah, we played a lot. We played mostly. It's really hard because we were underage, and in Los Angeles, you gotta be 21 everywhere.
Mhm.
Kind of. That's kind of how it always is. But for playing, you can play if you're underage. It's just like you can't have like most of your crowd are like your friends or like the scene, and like no one can come. So we'd play it like there were some rehearsal spaces that would let us throw parties there, like or
Mm.
big shows there, and it was nuts. So they let us do that there. We'd play it like we played at the Mint, played at the Whiskey. We played at a lot of those places that let us play there to like, it is kind of like pay to play sort of.
Yeah, oh
So
yeah, I know. The
yeah,
script.
we worked so hard to get everyone
Yeah.
there. But yeah, we gigged a lot and we filmed music videos and we recorded a lot, and like we were definitely like working, and it was awesome.
So it seems like you started doing your solo thing when you were around 18,
Yeah, 18. That's about the
because the
age.
first single, In the Sand, came out in 2020. I know you had some demos because I was doing a little research and I found some of your early demos. Do you remember when you first started recording?
Yeah, that song In the Sand was done with my band. That's my band playing that actually. That song Cherry, and Cherry, yeah, that song and Cherry were done with my band together. We recorded that actually in Burbank, which is where I'm from. So we recorded those songs with them, and then the rest of them, like the Split Ends EP that came out, was recorded in my house, and I played all the instruments, and I produced it and I wrote it, and I I really liked that. That song Split Ends was in that ended up in a Thrasher skate video, which is kind of where it got a lot of
Nice.
recognition there. Yeah, so that was really cool. And I did it all myself. Like I played the drums, the bass, guitar. I was very proud of myself. But that was just done in my house, literally. And then
Did
the
you
rest of it,
do you have like a little setup studio at your place?
I did. I did have, and I was like borrowing stuff from people and like kind of making all of it work, sort of. But like I don't anymore. I kind of have like an interface set up on my like laptop and in my room where I can record and like film things.
Right.
But other than that, I mostly just do a bunch of writing and filming here now.
I'm going to talk to you about your writing in a minute because I'm really
Yeah.
fascinated by it. So after you did the In the Sand single, what was going on around? I know the pandemic hit, which the timing of it really sucked, but you didn't, unless I missed something, I don't think you had another release until Soft Like Water, which was February of this year. Did you do anything in 21, 22 as far as releases, or did you just work on recording?
Yeah, I released In the Sand. I released Red February is another single. I that was in my house. I recorded that in my house too. I released that song, and then I released oh my God, I don't know. I actually think that might have been it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
so
forget.
what like you must have met James Salter during that period, right?
I did. I met him in 2021. I was 19. And I just like that was yeah, I met him around that time, and I was kind of releasing, and I was kind of like in my house doing it. Like the studios weren't open or anything like that. And it was that was when I met him, and and then after that it was a year or so until we dropped Soft Like Water. We worked together, and then we dropped that, yeah, the 20 January 2023. I
Now
think.
you seem to have a whole team together. Did this team come together before or during that period? Like you have a manager, a booking agent, a publicist, which is amazing because you have the team. How did that team come together?
The team came together. Well, first was my manager, Christopher. And I was kind of through mutuals online through recommendation. And then he recommended James to me. And then we kind of just started working from there and built our clientele. And, people really did take a chance on me. I'm still in developing stages. I haven't had like my like chance yet. You know what I mean? But in terms of my starting, like really starting, everyone is taking a chance on me because they like what I do. So like my book, everything just came along afterwards. The publicist, the booking agent, the sync agent, all that stuff like that all came from, and other writers as well has come from them too. Believing in me, which is something that I'm really proud of.
You should be. You got
Yeah.
your songs are fantastic. In fact, I'm gonna but before I ask you about your songwriting, did you know about the Ravenettes or Black Rebel Motorcycle Club and those bands? Is that why you agreed to work with James?
That's not why I agreed to work with him, but I did know those bands, and he had worked with them. Specifically, I like saw that like at that time I really wanted to do like grunge or like female grunge kind of. But like I've always loved Junior Senior, and James had worked with Junior Senior on did a song that I really liked, and I was like, I really like that song, and listened to his discography and like the things that he's worked on. I'm like, this is really cool, like this could work. And also it was mostly his mindset about things. I like that he had kind of a cynical way of looking at things, and I like really related to that. And most people that I meet aren't like that. So I really liked that. And I thought that that was really cool. So that we kind of just
A
our idea.
connection.
Yeah, I think so.
That's cool. Now, about your songs, I want to talk about Napoleon So Close in your latest single. First of all, is it a clear plan that you have to just do singles right now, or are you thinking about doing an album?
Well, I'm releasing an EP in March,
Okay.
but I am not going to release an album until there's proper funding. Cause like I'm gonna be real, like albums are expensive to make, they're expensive to promote, they're expensive to just have. That's like intellectual property that you're just letting out into the world. I don't want an album done unless there's a proper budget behind it. And like obviously, like I know none of us have like record label money. You know what I mean? So I think that I'm not ready to drop, and I have so many songs. I have like 40 sides right now that like I have just like written and ready to go kind of thing. And I'm not ready to release an album until the right people are involved and the right funding can be put into it. Like anyone who says that is lie, who says anything against that is kind of a liar. Like that's like everything is revolves a lot of things happen because of money now. But I'd like to be releasing singles and some EPs to let the world know what I do and who I am, and you know how we can connect.
We're out here finding you. That's for sure. I heard I when I first heard your music, I was very interested. Um, Now your songwriting, do you write your songs all alone, or do you have songwriting partners?
Yeah, I write with other people too. It mostly starts with just me. I write with other people. Mostly it's just me and James who write together. He's my co-writer, so we write together. But I'll start with an idea and then I'll bring it to him and then we collab, or we have like two writers that we like frequently work with. So we'll switch off and we'll kind of all just exchange ideas. So we definitely work together as a team, which is honestly kind of how I like it. It's everyone, like when you're with the right people, they have right ideas.
Are you writing all the lyrics?
Uh Not all of them, but a lot of them.
So
Um
the darkness that's coming
yeah.
with your lyrics, is that coming from you?
It's a culmination of me and James, both of us. We're like have it a lot of it. It is like at the end of the day, it is me because they're my songs and it's my voice. And if I didn't want to talk about something, I wouldn't have to. I just think that there's a lot of really complicated and painful things that people don't talk about a lot. I just don't want to write about. I don't want to write about a breakup or hey, you're mean. Like I just think it's boring. Like I just think or I don't want to write that. I think that there's far more interesting things that we don't understand, or things that like are complicated. So yeah, a lot of it does come from me.
What about the videos that are coming with the songs? Like,
Yeah.
they're great. They're
Thank
great. They're great. Your songs are great and your videos are great. Do you have anything to do with the videos, or are you just finding these directors and letting them have, say on how they want to, put the script together?
Yeah, so those videos are definitely me. Those are my ideas that come out because I've just grown up loving film and loving TV and loving like specific movies and books. I'm a big reader, so I have a really imaginative mind. And a lot of the stuff I'm like I read a lot of sci-fi and a lot of fantasy and a lot of stuff like that. That's kind of what I grew up on. So I think that I like to write about stuff that's like mini movies and like odd things, like kind of like in the Twilight Zone sort of like
Hmm.
vibe sort of.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I think of a concept that I want and then I bring it to like a director and I'm like, hey, this is a story. I like maybe you can add on to it. Like this is what I want, how I want to begin, middle, and end, or like, but like I want you to help fill in the gaps. But the ideas and the concepts come from me. But then I help some people like come in and help me. Like they're like, oh, maybe we could do this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
I think I've seen four: Soft Like Water, Napoleon, So Close, and the new one I love, But It Hurts Like Hell. These
Yeah.
are all, is it all different directors?
Yes. The first two were done by Brian Nichols, and I've known Brian for a really long time, and he's actually the one who recorded In the Sand, sorry, Soft Like Water. No, Jesus. Split Ends in Red February. He was the engineer on that. He's kind of
Oh,
like a multi-talented like octopus because he does like so many different things. So he helped he was the producer of the video for Soft Like Water and Napoleon. And then I started working with Bianca Cruz, who's in a student crew, who on I'm So Close and on Love You But It Hurts Like Hell.
yeah, your videos are getting better as they go along, I have to say.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been weirder with it, like more fun. Like, why not? Why can't I do whatever I want? You know what I mean?
what about the violence and the knives? And because I've seen a lot of violence and knives. Well, maybe not in the last. I'm going to ask you about I Love But It Hurts Like Hell because I'm a little confused about that one. But the other ones, you brought the knife out, you brought the violence out. It seems like you're angry.
I'm not angry. I'm really not. It's not about that. I think it's
Is it acting?
it is because I am an actress as well. I've always kind of done that, but like that's not really what it is. It's right now my theme for my music is a duality of kind of like a it's kind of a goth sort of thing, but it's more of like it's like visceral beauty. Like in pain there is beauty. So this stuff is not anger. Maybe there it starts as anger, but then it transforms into something else.
Kind of a
So
dichotomy is what you're saying,
it
right?
is, it is, and that's what so close is not angry at all. I actually kill him so that we can come into the afterlife together and exist like together and like forever together, like till death never do us part. So it's not about that. Yeah, it's not anger at all.
Interesting. That's what I was looking for. You got me with the explanation there. I like that.
Yeah.
You're trying to find the afterlife together. I like that. After you put out the So Close single, you went on an East Coast tour.
Yeah, I played over there. And that was really cool. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that was awesome. I played up at I've never done this before, and I played up at Vassar, the college up there, and was just really received really, really well. And made me think, I'm like, okay, this was a turning point for me because people that I feel like are my peers are actually accepting me now. So it was crazy to feel that as a person, not just about music. Like I just, it was kind of a turning point. I was like, oh my God, this is actually like working. Like as me as a person, like people are accepting me now. It was
Uh,
so cool.
Well, that's amazing that you played at Vassar. I don't know how you got that gig, but that's great. That's a very intellectual kind of vibe going on over there. It's not Ivy League school. Like my best friend, she went to Vassar. And if you
Yeah.
go to that school, that's a great school.
Yeah.
So how did you end up playing there? Your booking agent just booked some college dates for you?
No, one of my oldest friends that I was friends with in middle school, who was the one person who I was friends with actually at a school that was so miserable. She goes there and she
Wow.
knew I was coming to New York, and she's like, I hadn't talked to her in years. She said, Devon, um, I know this is a long shot, but will you open for Wednesday, the band, at our show, at our like back to school event? Because I can't find any bands and no one's good. And you're amazing. I've seen your videos. Can you come play? I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Great
Uh,
gig.
yeah, it was awesome.
I did you I mean I'm in the Boston area myself. Did you play New
Oh,
England?
I didn't play New England, not yet. I would like to. I want to hit all. I want to do an Ivy League college like tour really bad,
Oh,
like because I really feel like that would be so cool. And like, I really want to do New England and also Boston. Boston is such a cool
yeah,
city.
you would definitely do well in Boston.
I love Boston.
So you did the East Coast dates and then you went to South by Southwest. What was that
Yeah, yeah,
like?
yeah. That is interesting. I didn't have my band, so I felt very bare without them, but it was better than I expected. Getting to go around and meet people, and like it's kind of hard when you're not a super well-known artist because people are not really like you have people coming to see you, but it's like if it's weird, but it was cool and I liked it. I just don't know, as I've heard, I don't know if it was what it used to be.
True, probably. I would say that I haven't gone to South by Southwest in years, but it's probably changed. Did you feel like you were under a microscope?
No, I don't think not this time because I don't think this time only because I don't think that I think now if I went, I'd be under a microscope because like a lot of more people know about my music and all that stuff. So I think that at that time I was less of a topic, you know what I mean? Now, I was a Gibson artist back then, but now that I'm like more prominent of a person in general now, on like in terms of my music, I think I would be at this point.
Yeah, your choice in, I was going to talk about the Gibson sponsorship. Your choice in guitars is impeccable, by the
Thank
way.
you.
You're great. How many guitars do you have?
I have like 5 electric guitars, but I use my Casino, which is like the
Oh,
yeah, this
beautiful.
USA
Okay,
made.
if you're listening, people, you have to go to the video and check this guitar out because this is a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Yeah, so this is an Epiphone Casino. This is USA made. This is pretty new. This is like I think this was made like
Semi-hollow body, right?
it's a semi hollow body.
Is it heavy still though?
No, there's no middle bar in it.
So
So
it's
it's
light.
extremely light. It's so this I have a Sheraton as well, and it's just the like the wooden bar in the middle kind of just it doesn't do the same for me that this does. I think that you get a resonance and a power with this that you don't get with solid bodies.
You've created your own sound. That's what has gotten me very interested in you because I've seen people compare you to like PJ Harvey. I can see that a little bit. I'm a huge PJ Harvey fan, so that's a compliment. But I
Yeah.
think you're more like a, and I'm not trying to tell you what style you are because you have your own
Oh,
style.
I'm interested to hear what you think.
Like the cramp, I don't know if you ever heard of the cramps or like a psychobilly kind of sound almost, rockabilly, but more.
I do that. That makes sense. I would see that. I love the Cramps. They're one of my inspirations for sure. I have a lot of that. I feel like for me, I take kind of like Johnny Cash is one of my favorite artists, so I take a lot of inspiration from like some Southern aspects, I think. And then, like when I said Alabama Shakes, so there is like a rockabilly kind of thing, psychobilly kind of thing that I really like about that. So that would make sense to me. Yeah, definitely.
And when I say psychobilly, I consider that a compliment that you get
Yeah.
that sound. That's not a common. There's not a lot of people that sound like you.
No, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. That's awesome.
Um, I'm going to hit you up with one more thing here. I love, but it hurts like hell. Is it I
Love
love you, but it hurts like hell? I'm sorry, I
it.
got a
Yeah,
typo there.
I love you, but it hurts like hell.
Okay, what's going on in this song? Tell me about this.
Yeah, this song is kind of a double meaning. First, it's kind of just addressing the pain that love of any kind can bring you. Like just kind of me questioning like why we love in general. Sometimes it's so painful. Like whether it's with like a friend, a loved one, a family relationship. Like sometimes, like people battling with addiction, like it can be the hardest thing to watch because you love them so much, but they just destroy their lives. Or
Mm.
people that are self-sabotage or that you love, like it's just really hard. And I think that I've just had kind of some run-ins with that, and it's like made me question like this is really hard. And then the other meaning that came up, the song was written for a year before this meaning came to me, but it's mostly about the second meaning is relates to the first one, but it's about oppression in religion and how some religions kind of just it's hard because you as a let's say like you're faced with the moral dilemma of loving your faith, loving your family, but they hate you because you're gay or something like that. Like you could be like you could be like literally like making world peace, but because you're gay, you're going to hell kind of thing. That's just an example. But I think that there's an inner struggle with people who grew up in religious families, but they're ostracized just because of like who they are kind of thing. And they're like, I love my faith and I love like God or whatever, or I love my family, but they hate me. And it's like a struggle. It's a battle. So I love you, but it hurts.
Wow.
It's intense, but it's addressing something that a lot of people really struggle with.
You're coming from a very heavy place with your writing, and I really appreciate that. Um, you mentioned acting before. Have you done a lot of acting?
Yeah, I have actually. I started in musical theater when I was younger. So that requires singing and acting. And I started doing auditions and stuff when I was really young. I just took a liking to it. My mom was an actress, so I kind of just like took a liking to it. And I kind of had agencies growing up my whole life and was in acting classes, and I've done commercials, and I've done some like network stuff, and I've done um some web series stuff with DreamWorks and ABC. And it's been less prominent recently because I think I've just really like I think I went really rebellious, and I just like, I hate this. And I got a bunch of tattoos and like did music. I never liked having to play someone else though. There's something about it that I just didn't like. I feel like I was like, I just want to be myself so bad. And I just want to say what I want to say, and I want people to like me for that. But recently, again, I'm having like a lot of changes. I've really been like thinking that it's because of my writing, it's been so explorative kind of, and it's been so storytelling. It's been making me like playing other characters again. So I still act. Yeah.
You're very interesting. You brought up your tattoos. I mean, you have some really cool tattoos. What is the meaning going there? Is there meaning behind any of these?
I like them. That's the meaning. I mean, I take it as like I see something and I'm like, I want that on my body. I want it. And I just get it. I don't think about it. I just everything I see it once, and I hit up my artist. I'm like, can you do it tomorrow? And they always say yeah. So like I get them really fast and I don't think about them, but I've never regretted anything I've gotten because all of them are representative of like my writing and like the things that I like, the imagery that I like. So like I have a flapper Batgirl and a proper bunny here because I've always loved Beatrix Potter growing up, and like Peter Rabbit. I just love I love the writing, and I love the drawings. I love Alice in Wonderland. I have a little trumpet bunny here, and
Wow.
yeah, I have a lot of stuff that is very special to me, and like body art is like how I see it, and like it's like part of my art. I really just want to be as immersed in my art as like I possibly can. So this is just like part of it. I like it.
You're the real deal. Um, can you tell me if you're listening to anything these days that you like? Is there any other artists you've been listening to you think that catch your ear that you really like, or are you going back to the older stuff, or
No, I really like The Last Dinner Party. They're amazing. I love them so much. I think that they're so I think that their concepts are really provocative. They write a lot about religion and sex, and I think that that's so scandalous and it's so good. And I latched onto it immediately. So I really like The Last Dinner Party. Again, I like Courtney Barnett. I do like Phoebe Bridgers a lot. Um, there's a lot of really good music that I like that I listen to now that's new that I really enjoy. Like there's a band called Fleshwater. They're a 90s kind of like revival band, but they do like new metal, I'd say.
Hmm.
Really good. There's a lot of new music that's so inspiring. I also love Emil and the Snifflers, and you know they're yeah that I've seen them live a bunch. So those are some new bands that influence me and that like do stuff that really just is like their thing, and I think that's something that's important to stick to now.
how do you listen? Do you listen to vinyl, or do you listen to Spotify, or what's
Yeah,
your
I use Apple Music actually because
Apple?
I recently just got Spotify just because like I think I just want to have all of them. But I've been listening on Apple Music, and I'm not a vinyl collector because I haven't invested. When I like have more money, I'm gonna get a really nice
When she has a
vinyl.
platinum record,
I'm gonna get a vinyl player that's really good.
record player.
So I can
Wow.
so yeah.
You mentioned Phoebe Bridgers, by the way. Did you like Boy Genius?
Yeah, I do. I like her stuff more. Julian
Yeah.
Baker's really good too, and so is Lucy. I like their solo stuff a lot more than just Boy Genius themselves. I like Boy Genius. I think they're good. I also love Paramore. That's another one that I really love. I think that I really like their music. And I like all three of them like separately more than Boy Genius, I think. But I like Phoebe because she's so anti-LA. It's so funny to me. And I relate to her because when I tell people that I'm from LA, they're like, "You are not LA." It's like, I know. It's like not.
It's
It's hard to
funny
like, yeah, it's weird.
I think they're all great too. I like Lucy Dacus
Yeah. Oh my God,
solo records the best because they're more indie rock, you know?
that's what I love indie rock. That's kind of why I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you go, tell me what's next now. What's your plan? I didn't see any tour dates. Are you getting a tour together or
Yeah, this summer, late summer is going to be a tour I'm going to be doing, and more singles, lots more music. This year's going to be a year for music and touring and gigging, and my empire kind of. So I think I have another single coming out next month, and I have an EP coming out in March, and then Let the World Do What It Wants. But I already have gigs coming up, in February, March, and April, and then July is looking like I'll be doing a tour then. So lots of gigging and lots of music for everyone to listen to, and more weird concepts for you guys to drink in.
I really like what you're doing. You're years ahead of your age, by the way, with your writing and your whole.
Thank you. That's what I've been told. It's just like it's weird. They're like hard, weird concepts to talk about, but like I know people think about them. They just don't want to write them.
Thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.